What is up guys, Greedy Knight here discussing load shells and power prolonger in depth. If you've seen my charge blade skill tier list, I placed both in D tier. I stand by that placing, but you deserve to know why I placed them that low. Don't let my stance on these skills deter you from testing these skills out for yourself. Form your own opinions and don't just blindly follow whatever I say, be it in any of my guides or future tier lists. Let's get into it. Load shells causes your yellow energy to load 5 vials. In order to gain this effect for charge blade, you must have 2 points allocated in your armor. In practice, it speeds up the rate you can pop off full power supers by supplying more vials. Power Prolonger gives a duration multiplier on both your condensed element slash and red shield charge. At level 3, it extends the duration of your shield charge by 140%. When loading red shield charge using base charge blade, each vial lasts 24 seconds. Power Prolonger at level 3 increases the duration by 9.6 seconds, extending file duration to 33.6 seconds per file. The main function of both skills is that you save more files for your supers instead of charging them into shield, thus increasing your super output. Nothing is wrong with these skills on paper, but relative to the other tools in Charge Blade's arsenal, these skills are too passive to justify running them over other skills. Guard and Rapid Morph moving into the update are already primed to be staple skills because they allow you to pop more supers by buffing your animations. Meanwhile, load shells is an afterthought in most meta builds and nearly none of the time attackers are using Power Prolonger. As to why I ranked these skills in D tier, the tier list was ranked based on priority. S tier was based on universally good skills, A tier was based on good skills depending on your charge blade type, B tier was based on versatile charge blade skills, C tier was based on versatile generic skills, D tier was based on niche charge blade skills, and F tier was based on niche generic skills. How many more files does load shells give you? Assuming you always load files using yellow charge and assuming the exact same hunt, we can calculate the exact number of files you get from load files and thus the number of supers it generates. Let's say you load files 10 times during a hunt and you already have red shield charge. Using base charge blade, that would result in 30 files, which would result in 6 supers. Using load shells, that would result in 50 files, translating to 10 supers. It roughly doubles your file count, meaning that if you use a super-centric playstyle, then admittedly yes, load shells is worth running. Power Prolonger is far more niche and easier to calculate. Over the course of the average 10-minute hunt, it takes 5 file loads to maintain red shield charge. Power Prolonger uses 3.5 file loads to maintain red shield charge during that same 10-minute time frame. That means you essentially pop 1.5 more supers just by having this skill. The length of the hunt directly determines how good Power Prolonger is. Longer hunts make it stronger. In the meta-centric state of the game, long hunts are the last thing most players want, so this skill is pretty low on my radar. Load shells is a good skill for file management. Unfortunately, counter peek exists. They both function to fill all files you have regardless of energy, but counter peek giving you protection on top of matching load shells edges it out as a necessary skill. Using both is an example of diminishing returns. Yes, you'd have a higher file count, but how many of those can you convert into a well-placed super? It doesn't matter if your file count is doubled if you miss a majority of your supers. In order for a skill to be versatile, it means that anyone of any skill level should be able to use it. Only practice super spam mains can use load shells effectively. Now, if you use Axe Hopper, then yeah, load shells should be a higher priority skill, shifting it up to B tier for specifically Axe Hopper. In order to assert that everyone should use load shells, you would also have to assert that everyone should use Axe Hopper. Charge Blade has 4 playstyles, each one is unique enough to pull players in. The only playstyle that needs load shells is Axe Hopper Super Spam. That's only one of the 4 playstyles that require load shells as a skill, making Axe Hopper as a switch skill niche. It doesn't mean the playstyle isn't good, but the popularity of Counter Peek actively hurts Axe Hopper Super Spam as a playstyle when looking at the majority of Charge Blade users. It feels like beating a dead Kirin at this point, but Power Prolonger only nets you an extra super in the average hunt. That is not a justification to sacrifice 3 points in attack or some other level 2 skill for that one extra super. It would just be more damage efficient to get a generic damage buff through attack or artillery. Being in D tier does not equate to being a bad skill. It's just that in the case of Charge Blade, there are a lot of good skills to consider and load shells was pushed down the niche. When I think about using builds and showing them to people who see my content, I will recommend skills that will help everyone who uses them, regardless of their playstyle and skill level. Now if you want to see a gimmick set or some spicy tech, then that's when I recommend the C tier stuff and lower. Like if you want me to make more discussion videos like this one, subscribe if you are new to the channel and want to discuss charge blade topics like this. That's all I have for this one. Greedy Knight, signing out.